Good morning everyone, I hope you're all doing fantastic. I'm Mysticle, and today I'll be bringing you the latest in AR and VR news. We've got quite a bit of variety today, not just meta, but of course we have a lot of meta as well. So without any further ado, let's jump right into the video. The first piece of news that we have is the Quest 3 is apparently not doing as well as expected. Well, the device hasn't come out yet, but pre-orders are apparently not as high as expected. Supply chain analyst claims Quest 3 demand is far less than forecast. This is basically exactly what I've personally been forecasting for quite some time. The Quest 3 isn't going to be as big of a hit as the Quest 2. It's a far more expensive device, and people that have the Quest 2 may not necessarily see the need of upgrading to the Quest 3, or are just not going to update right away. Supply chain analyst Minchi Kuo claims Meta is set to sell significantly fewer Quest 3 headsets than originally forecast. Kuo's latest report on Meta's Reality Labs AR/VR division claims the original forecast for Quest 3 was 7 million units by the end of this year, but that has now been downgraded to about 2.5 million. That is a very significant decrease. I was expecting less, but this is like 4.5 million less. That's a lot. On Meta Store and most online retailers, the 128GB Quest 3 model remains readily available for launch week delivery, though in some regions the 512GB model is backordered 2 weeks. This suggests demand for enthusiasts is higher than expected, but not demand for regular consumers. Again, exactly what I expected. People big into virtual reality, people that are going to be willing to spend much more on an upgrade that may not be as large as consumers would have liked. A lot of people in the comments section are saying that this is actually a great price for a headset with these specs. And I must say, compared to competition, that is correct. However, it's not denying the fact that it's still expensive. I mean, I can tell you that for a gaming laptop, 1,000 euro isn't a lot, but 1,000 euro is a lot. It's just in the realm of gaming laptops, 1K isn't a lot, if you get what I'm trying to say. And I feel like the same is happening here. It's important to keep in mind that claims from supply chain analysts sometimes turn out to be false. Weak sales of the Quest 3 would not necessarily be a deal breaker for Meta's long-term XR strategy though. According to an internal roadmap leaked to The Verge before the Quest 3 was even announced, Meta was already planning to release a cheaper headset in 2024 at the most attractive price point in the VR consumer market. This is going to be something along the lines of a Quest Lite, and we did mention this in a previous video. In 2024, supposedly, we will get that cheaper headset. What drawbacks will there be? Well, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. I do assume that the cheaper headset may not have as many, or any, for that matter, AR capabilities, but then again, some people are just into VR and don't really care for the AR aspect. I've seen a lot of people talking about this. I'm very excited, so I can't wait for my pre-order unit to arrive. Meta is also laying off custom chip staff as the Qualcomm partnership strengthens. Meta now has a Qualcomm partnership, so they don't need as many people working on custom chips. Meta is reportedly conducting layoffs in its custom silicon for wearables team. This is unfortunate, and I wish the best to anybody that was laid off, and hopefully you get to find a job doing what you love. Reuters cites 2 sources familiar with the matter as saying employees on the team, still known as Facebook Agile Silicon team, were notified of layoffs yesterday via Meta's internal communication platform Workplace. Fast employed around 600 people before the layoffs. Reuters says it could not determine the scale of the layoffs, however. Upload VR reached out to Meta, but the company declined to comment. Meta conducted major waves of layoffs throughout the past year as part of an effort to cut costs, with Mark Zuckerberg describing 2023 as the year of efficiency. And this was a big deal throughout the last year. It seems it's not quite over yet, as Meta now conducts partnerships and seems to be not needing a lot of the teams that they needed before those partnerships. So there you go. Next piece of news. This is a big one. Personally, I'm super excited for this one. This one isn't going to be for everyone, but the new virtual desktop update adds Quest 3 support and Quest Pro VR chat, face and eye tracking. Yes, I know the Quest 3 support is a big deal, but personally, VR chat, face and eye tracking finally being available on virtual desktop, that is a big deal to me. I love VR chat, and having face and eye tracking finally available on PCVR, me being able to utilize that full power of PCVR through virtual desktop which is the app I use most for PCVR, is going to be fantastic. And of course, Quest 3 update, also fantastic. Let me tell you, on Quest 3, enabled by its new Snapdragon XR2 Gen 2 chipset, the latest update and support for the AV1 video codec, up to 200 megabits with the HEVC codec, the ability to use godlike quality setting at 120 Hz, and the ability to use super resolution upscaling with any quality setting. AV1 is only supported by NVIDIA RTX 40 series and AMD Radeon RX 7000 series GPUs, but provides better image quality at the same bitrate as HEVC. Godin says it also produces more stable frame rates, meaning fewer hiccups when locomoting in VR, but it's slightly more demanding on your GPU than other codecs. And unfortunately, I'm one of the people that won't be able to utilize this since I'm still running my PC on an AMD RX 5700 XT. Yes, guys, I'm that far behind, but it's still going. It's still pulling strong. That is on my list of things I need to do, but there's much more important things on that list that need to be done before that. So I won't be able to utilize that, but I will be able to utilize the higher bitrate. For normal, non-VR monitor streaming, Quest 3 also renders the virtual environments at much higher resolutions. So Virtual Desktop also gets that Quest 3 visual upgrade. Godin also tells Upload VR that his testing has revealed the Quest 3 has improved Wi-Fi performance over all previous standalone headsets, making streaming smoother in general. To quote, "It's the best headset for wireless PCVR by far." Here you can see a graph of all the three headsets compared and which capabilities they have and which they don't. But the update isn't just for Quest 3 users. For Quest Pro, it adds the ability to forward the headset's face and eye tracking into the PC version of VR Chat via an integration with VRC face tracking, a long-requested feature by users of the leading social VR platform. The last major update, released in June, added support for the headset's local dimming feature, so Virtual Desktop now takes full advantage of the Quest Pro's unique capabilities. Again, that one isn't going to be for everyone. I can't imagine a lot of you have the Quest Pro out there, but if you do, this is one to get excited for. Now, here is an unfortunate one for those of you that pre-ordered the Bigscreen Beyond. I'm sure if you pre-ordered, you already know about this, but US pre-orders are delayed into Q4 amid production issues. Bigscreen announced this week that it experienced a series of manufacturing, engineering, and supply chain delays, which meant production started later than expected, and it's currently at just 25% of the target rate. These delays mean that 80% of US pre-orders that have been set to ship in Q3 will actually ship sometime in the next 6 weeks. The company says pre-orders that were set for Q4 are still on track, including international orders. By early next year, Bigscreen expects new orders to ship within a couple of weeks of providing your face scan. So this is unfortunate, but the pre-orders are still happening. They didn't cancel the headset or anything like that. It's just a delay. So those of you that pre-ordered can still be excited to have the smallest PCVR headset ever in your hands in just a while. We talked about the Immersed Visor quite a bit in the previous video, and we talked about the fact that there were two tiers: the cheaper, lower resolution tier, and the more expensive, higher resolution tier. Here is something that I did not see coming. Immersed has cancelled the cheaper 2.5K visor as 96% of people chose the 4K model. It looks like VR enthusiasts are seriously going for this thing. All but 4% seem to have pre-ordered the highest end possible model. The startup now says it will no longer build the 2.5K model, which was originally announced for $500. According to the company, those who opted for the 2.5K model will be emailed a special offer or are welcome to get a refund altogether. So at least that much. Those of you, in case you are in that 4% that ordered the 2.5K model, you will either get that special offer or you can get your refund, which I guess is a good thing, but maybe disappointing in case that special offer isn't for you and you still wanted the headset. Here's a cool one. After nearly 5 years, Blade & Sorcery finally targets full release in 2024. Created by Warp Frog, the developer outlined its plans for Blade & Sorcery's final update on Steam. Version 1.0 notably adds Crystal Hunt, a new game mode with progression, an original dungeon biome, and loot collecting. Separate characters can be created who start with nothing but gradually become more powerful. Loot is sold to purchase weapons, while magical skills and skill tree branches are unlocked through crystal shards and crystal cores. Warpfrog states the current estimated ballpark for release is Q1 2024, but this isn't guaranteed. We can finally be looking forward to a full release of Blade and Sorcery. I personally think that this is one of those games that may be in early release. However, it still runs really well, and you can tell that a lot of work has gone into making this thing ready for that final release. So I am very happy to see them finally preparing for that, and I'll be waiting till Q1. The Lynx R1 has had a price increase to 1.3K as the startup pivots focus back to businesses. Originally, it was announced in 2020 as a $1,500 product for businesses, but in 2021, the company announced a radical strategy shift, removing eye tracking to significantly reduce the price and target consumers at a few $100s via a Kickstarter campaign. The startup is now essentially reversing that pivot and will primarily target businesses again, which it claims already represent most of its buyers anyway. I mean, if most of their buyers are business customers anyway, I can see why they're doing it, and especially if they re-add that eye tracking, I can see quite a few businesses wanting to utilize that. But there's an example of a business going in the completely other direction, and instead of shifting towards consumers, they're actually going back to businesses. While I don't think a lot of other companies are going to make this change, if this did start happening in general, it wouldn't be very good for the VR consumer market. But again, I don't think that a lot of other companies are actually going to start doing this. It's just an interesting piece of news. And just before we finish, in case you guys want some cheap PCVR titles, Get Your Head in the Game VR is still active, but just for 3 more days. So in case you guys want to support the channel and get yourself some cheap PCVR games, the affiliate link will be down below. And finally, Skydances Behemoth is now delayed until late 2024. So if you are excited for Skydance's brand new Behemoth game, you're going to have to wait quite a bit longer. There you guys go. That's going to be it for today's news video. Thank you all so much for joining me. You are all absolutely incredible. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day or night. If you guys want to talk about any of these topics or any topic whatsoever, comment section is down below. Feel free to leave your comment. Join our Discord, join our Reddit. We'd love to see you chatting on there as well. And thank you so much to all the lovely names going over me right now. Those are my Patreons. You guys are absolutely incredible. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Much love. And thank you so much to anyone else who supports the channel in any way, shape, or form. And if you guys want to be notified of which content coming up on the channel, make sure to smack that subscribe button with your forehead, ding my bell, and see you again in the next video. Peace.